Good afternoon, people. Just kind of your PSA for today. If for any of you who are looking to find a way to literally start shedding weight as much as you possibly can, one of the best ways you can do it is to walk. Not jog, walk. And there's a really important reason for this. When you walk, your body is at a place where it's not stressed to the point where it starts to conserve itself. The idea behind long distance running and sort of sustained low intensity exercise is that it increases the cortisol in your bloodstream. And when the cortisol in your bloodstream occurs, it is literally trying to make sure you stay alive. So when you're trying to stay alive, what happens? Your body is literally trying to preserve itself as much as it can. And a lot of that, ironically, deals with the protection of your body's most precious primal energy source, and that's fat. And so, to the degree that you are jogging all the time to lose that weight, what you're doing in reality is enabling your sympathetic nervous system to activate. And when it activates, there's no way that your body is going to not protect itself and protect its resources to the degree that fat, even as you eat a somewhat even low to moderate or slightly moderate carbohydrate diet, your visceral fat will grow even as you jog all the time because you're jogging. So for so many of us, it seems counterintuitive, particularly if you subscribe to the calories in, calories out model, which I think for so many of us now, we are starting to realize is completely flawed, because what stores fat in your body is not necessarily the amount of calories that you're ingesting, but the type of calories you're ingesting. If you ingest 100 calories of steak, that's very different from when you're ingesting 100 calories of sugary ice cream, because the steak will produce a lot less insulin. It'll still increase it, but it won't increase the amount of insulin that you're doing by as much as if you're ingesting 100 calories of ice cream, because it's got a lot more sugar in it. And that insulin is what is getting you to store fat. And when you are in a stress mode, as you are when you are running for long distances, your body is saying, okay, I got to preserve myself as much as possible. Have you noticed then why so many runners have to drink or consume those sugar packets? Because those sugar or jelly packets are the only way they can get energy into them fast, or they bonk. Why are they bonking if they're using up their fat stores? The answer is, it's that their body is stressed out to the point where it says, okay, I can't give this up. I can't give this up. But because they can't give it up, and because it won't convert quickly enough, they have to use glucose, or they have to inject, literally, they have to scarf down all these sugar packets, these sugar gels, just to make sure that they maintain the same amount of energy. But that has a negative effect, because that cortisol is telling them to store as much of those calories as fat as possible. Do you see what's going on here? What's the solution? Well, you have to go away. You have to swing the pendulum either one way or the other. The first way, and we can talk about the second in a second. The first way, just walk. Get 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. Because that's what our ancestors did. They walked. They had to walk everywhere. They didn't have cars. They had to walk everywhere. And that walking literally kept their metabolic rate going. So many of us, we're all sitting. So for so many of us, and this is sort of a combination of sort of natural things that are going on. Number one, if possible, walk outside. Don't walk inside if you can. Avoid treadmills unless you literally have no other option. For those of you who are at work, like I am all day, try to walk to your place of work if you can, or walk to the train. If you have zero options in that regard, maybe you get a walking desk at work and you walk while you do it, while you're at your desk or doing things. Now be careful, but at the same time, look, walking was the way we got around. We didn't have cars back then. And so the way our ancestors lived, you need to walk around to get around. And that's what your legs are for. And think about it. If you're not using them, why would your body not atrophy? That's just the bottom line. So one, walk. The other one we can talk about later, and that's sprinting. And the idea behind that is, look, you're trying to get away from an animal that's trying to hunt you down and kill you. Or the exact opposite. You're trying to chase down an animal because you're freaking hungry and you're trying to eat and you need to kill it so that you can eat and feed your family or you die. So the idea behind sprinting is that it also mimics a primal or primordial activity that we were doing in order to survive. And so I don't have a lot of information that I'm probably going to research a bit more. But my analysis of this is for either of these things that we're doing, we need to do more of them because these are what our ancestors were doing. And so for me, I just walked 1.5 miles in addition to about a mile this morning. And frankly, I'm tired because I haven't done this in a while. But I think for the foreseeable future, this is what it's going to take. So for most of you, that's going to be at least 2.5 to 3 miles. It's a lot. But again, this is sort of the price that you have to pay to get better. I think for so many of us, we think that we need to spend like really hard, long hours in the gym. And for so many of us, I think we intuitively understand that use of energy is not a particularly good use of our bodies because it is stressing them to the point where it isn't really necessarily helping us do better. And I would argue that if you're going to be in the gym for a while, you may as well just sprint. Just get the high intensity, like max out your body as fast as you can, and then rest. Because again, in that scenario, your cortisol goes up, and then because you've not been in a stressed mode for so long, it comes back down a lot faster. With walking, you're just effectively not stressed out at all. It should be at the most like kind of a pretty vigorous walk, maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes a mile or so, right? But at the same time, you're not dying. You're just trying to get somewhere, maybe in a little bit more of a hurry, but you're not trying to run a marathon. I mean, think about it. You look at sprinters versus marathoners, right? Just intuitively look at how marathoners look. They are so thin and they're so wafy. They have to be. But you could look at that and you could go, is that healthy? And you'd also have to think about, there are a lot of folks who are skinny fat, right? They may look skinny, but inside or surrounding their visceral organs is possibly all this visceral fat that is literally intoxicating. Like it's literally poisoning their body, but it's hidden because they are ostensibly an athlete. You look at them and they look kind of sickly, honestly. And then you have to wonder, is this what it really means to be a healthy human being? Then you look at a sprinter. You look at, say, Usain Bolt, and you go, okay, that's the human being I want to be like. But is he running 26? No, he's sprinting, right? And so I think for the purposes of health and exercise, you walk or you sprint. Don't jog. And I think if you can do this every day, I think you'll be better off for it. Just my thoughts. I think I'm trying to find places where it's just, frankly, just the common sense thing to do is correct. Walk a lot. Walk wherever you can. And I think the pounds will start to go. Imagine if so much more of America stopped driving as much. Now, again, I understand that there's some limits to that, but at a certain point, you got to think, if so many more of us like biked or walked to work, imagine how much healthier we would be just because we're using our bodies to literally move to the place that we need to go. This is frankly common sense. And again, I want to be clear, there are some situations where it's a lot more challenging, but again, we're going by the premise of what did our ancestors do to ensure that they were to just live the life that they had to live. And frankly, they just had to walk. In our modern devices and our modern vices are such that we have now thought that these modern accoutrements, especially around cars and transportation, have ridden us of the need to move around and do things in the world, like literally move in the world. And I think that's obviously not great, because again, it goes against sort of thousands and thousands of years of evolution. If you want to get healthy, you got to start moving. So anyway, my big thing here, again, take anything away from this: walk, don't jog, walk, and walk as much as you can. That'll do it for this video, and we'll see you later. Cheers.